You know, it's funny when you think about it, right? Our smartwatches, I mean, they're already basically mini computers on our wrists,
Hmm.
tracking everything from our workouts to like how well we sleep at night.
Right.
But what if, and this is where it gets really interesting, what if they could like actually see what we see?
Yeah, and that's actually exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay.
So there's been a report, it's causing quite a stir actually, suggesting that future Apple Watch models, uh, they might have cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, this isn't just about, taking a quick photo. It's really tied into something much bigger,
Mm-hmm.
which is Apple's big push into advanced AI,
Mm-hmm.
what they're calling visual intelligence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the source we're looking at today is from Mark Gurman over at Bloomberg,
Right.
of
Yeah.
course, covered by 9 to 5 Mac.
Yeah.
Always a good source. And what we found so interesting is that this isn't just about taking pictures. It's more about giving the Apple Watch the ability to kind of see, to understand its surroundings,
Mm.
which could mean some pretty amazing AI-powered features for those of you listening.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it. Think about the leap in capability.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, your smartwatch uses sensors, motion, heart rate, location data to kind of understand what you're doing, the world around you.
Right.
But imagine if it could also like see a sign or even understand a scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that kind of visual context could bring about a whole new like a whole new generation of intelligent features.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's so exciting about this. It
Right.
really shows how ambitious Apple is to bring more and more sophisticated AI into like every device they make.
Yeah. Okay, so let's unpack this core concept, right?
Sure.
Camera integration for AI. Why would enabling like the watch to see, why is that such a game changer?
Well, okay. So think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Current, you know, current smartwatch AI. It's largely reactive,
Mm.
right? It interprets data that you've already generated.
Yeah.
But visual input, having a camera, that could allow for proactive intelligence. I mean, imagine your watch noticing a spill on the floor
Huh.
and reminding you to be careful before you even slip. I mean, it's not just tracking your steps anymore. It's actually helping you navigate the world more safely.
Right.
That's the kind of contextual awareness, that a camera could unlock.
That's really interesting. So it's moving from reactive to proactive.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, so the report also touched on Apple's existing visual intelligence tech, that we see on the iPhones
Hmm.
and how they want to expand that.
Yeah,
They even mentioned AirPods.
that's right.
But one thing that jumped out to me was, they mentioned how they're relying on third-party AI like ChatGPT and Google.
Right, right. Yeah, and I think, what's really interesting here is that Apple's Apple's made it clear where they want to go.
Yeah.
The report, it suggests that they really want to bring this core visual AI capability in-house. They want to move away from relying on these external AI models,
Yeah.
and they want to develop their own integrated system, which, that's a big undertaking. It means they'd have to invest a lot.
Huh.
They have to really commit to building their own AI infrastructure for their entire ecosystem.
Right. It's a huge investment. So it seems like, this camera on the Apple Watch, it's not just a feature, it's part of this larger AI puzzle they're putting together.
Yeah, yeah.
So, there are two potential paths that the report outlines for this camera integration,
Hmm.
depending on the Apple Watch model, the standard and the Ultra.
Right.
Can you walk us through those?
Sure. Yeah. So for the standard Apple Watch, it seems like the current thinking is to embed the camera directly into the display itself.
Okay.
It's a technology that we've seen some smartphone makers explore, either with an under-display camera,
Mhm.
where it tries to kind of blend in seamlessly, or maybe a more traditional cutout.
Yeah.
But the report suggests that they're probably still trying to figure out which approach is the best.
Makes sense.
How to balance image quality and how it looks, for something you wear on your wrist.
Sure. So, the approach they're looking at for the Ultra is different, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the Ultra, the report says they're thinking about putting the camera on the side of the watch casing,
Okay.
like next to the digital crown and the side button.
Right.
And I think the logic there is probably, the Ultra is bigger.
Yeah.
It gives them more space to actually fit a camera module.
Sure. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, if you think about it, having it on the side makes it maybe more natural to point your wrist
Yeah, I could see that.
if you want to take a picture or scan something.
Right, right. You're holding your wrist out like you're scanning a barcode or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, I'm sure some of you listening are like, "Oh, I want this now."
Right.
But we should probably set some realistic expectations, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the report's pretty clear about this.
Okay.
These camera-equipped Apple Watch models, we're not going to see them until at least 2027.
Wow, okay.
It could even be later than that.
Right.
But it's interesting because they also mentioned this alongside rumors of camera-equipped AirPods, which makes me think that they're really planning to push visual AI across all their wearables.
Yeah. Okay, so the report really emphasizes that all of this hinges on the progress of Apple's AI development teams.
Yeah.
And there was even a mention of like a recent executive shuffle within those teams.
Yeah.
Why is that noteworthy?
Well, when you see leadership changes in an area as important as AI development,
Yeah.
it can mean, a few things. It could mean a shift in priorities or maybe a renewed focus on something, or even like an acknowledgement that they're having some trouble reaching their goals.
Right, right.
But it definitely reminds us that, developing this kind of advanced AI,
Right.
the kind that can power these features, it's really complicated.
Mm-hmm.
So how much progress they make or any roadblocks they hit in their AI division, that's really going to impact, when we actually see these camera-equipped wearables.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. So it's not like this whole idea of an Apple Watch with cameras coming out of nowhere.
Right.
We're already seeing the foundation being laid
Yeah.
with some of the visual intelligence features in Apple products right now.
That's right.
So how does this potential camera integration connect with the technology that's already available?
Well, so think about features that you probably use every day,
Yeah.
like live text,
Mm-hmm.
where you can interact with the text and photos,
Yeah. Yeah.
or even being able to search your photo library using visual descriptions.
Yeah.
I mean, those are basic examples of visual intelligence working right now.
Yeah.
So integrating cameras into devices like the Apple Watch,
Right.
and maybe even AirPods. I mean, that'd be a huge step forward. It wouldn't just be about analyzing still images. It would be about real-time visual perception and interaction.
Right. Yeah.
With everything around you. It's about bringing that visual understanding into your everyday life.
Okay, so for our listeners, let's kind of distill this down, right?
Sure.
What are the key takeaways, from this deep dive into the possibility of camera-equipped Apple Watches?
Right. I think the main takeaway here is that Apple is seriously considering putting cameras into future Apple Watch models.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just, a random thing. It's a strategic move.
Right.
It's driven by their vision for AI-powered wearables.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically when it comes to visual intelligence.
Yeah.
They want to create devices that can actually see and understand the world around you.
Mm.
And that, should lead to a richer and more helpful user experience.
Okay, so we learned that they're thinking about different ways to implement this, right?
Right.
For the standard and the ultra.
Yeah.
So, a camera embedded in the display for the standard, a side-mounted camera for the ultra.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes sense to me,
Right.
It shows that they're really thinking about how this technology fits into different designs.
Sure.
And how it can meet the needs of different Apple Watch users.
Right, yeah.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
It's not. And it's important to remember that this is all in the future.
Yeah.
We're not going to see this probably until 2027 at the earliest.
Right.
And even then, it depends on how well Apple's AI development teams do.
Exactly. And I think, this whole thing, it really lines up with this trend that we're seeing everywhere.
Yeah.
AI is being integrated into all our personal devices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the idea that our wearables could actually like see the world around us.
Yeah.
I mean, that could unlock so many new possibilities and ways for us to interact with our devices.
Right.
Things that we can't even imagine right now.
So to wrap this up, here's something for you to think about.
Okay.
What are the bigger implications of having a camera on your smartwatch? I mean, think about it. It could completely change how we do everyday things.
Yeah.
I mean, could you pay for stuff just by glancing at it?
Mhm.
Could you identify things instantly?
Interesting.
And what about, our personal data
Right.
and how our relationship with technology is changing?
Yeah.
What new things could we do with a device that can actually see?
Hmm.
And what are the potential problems, for society or for individuals? Yeah,
As our wearables start to gain this visual perception,
that's a great question.
it's definitely something worth thinking about.
Yeah, definitely.
So until next time.
See ya.